Welcome back, listener. It's Plathville. If you can't see us, join our Patreon. No, I'm not coming in with the hard sell immediately. We are back. This is your 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, or 13th favorite reality TV podcast. I am so appreciative of those of you who've come forward to say, we're in the top 3. And in some cases, and by cases, I mean one person, we are actually your favorite.
We love you.
So,
are you going to start changing that opening to something more like we're your 3rd, 4th, or 5th favorite reality recap?
When we reached the height of our fandom's estimation, then yes,
Lovely.
that could happen. Funny start to the day today, funny end to yesterday. I am pleased to report that I am back in good health. And I want to thank Diana for covering for me on 90 Day UK. You know that I put my utmost faith and trust in Diana when I let her anchor the flagship show.
I feel so honored. I missed you, but I felt really proud, and I hope that I, did right by you.
Well, I'm glad that your regular co-host missed you, and I guess I was the fill-in on the last show. But thank you, normal co-host.
Of course, anytime.
If you're new to the show, my name is Michelle. I have irritable bowel syndrome and chronic fatigue, and Lord knows what else. I'm also autistic and ADHD. And if you think that I've seen too many doctors in my time on this earth and that it's just an East Coast thing and that autism can be cured with carrots and bananas, you might want to go elsewhere for your reality TV recap needs. Of course, my person, Jack, is joining me as always. He is the co-host of this lovely program. And Diana, his wife, my second favorite person, is also here to help us through the long and winding road through Plathville. How's your week going?
It's been a long and winding road, Michelle. I'm happy just to have you back in your good health and upbeat spirits.
Spirits are indeed in the sky. Now, it made me laugh. It gave me a chuckle today that we were watching the episode of The Office where Jim convinces Dwight that the next day is Saturday when it's actually still Thursday. And we had to do that with Jack all day yesterday. So, Jack, are you disappointed that today isn't Friday?
A little bit, and to be honest with you, I still sort of think it's Friday right now. But I think that says a lot more about me than anything else going on around here today.
Summer schedule, baby. It's hard to keep track.
Oh, boy.
Oh, the days bleed together this time of year.
They sure do. And so do the ladies in this house.
We are in sync, if anyone's wondering.
It's not a myth.
It's a bloody good time, though, isn't it?
To any gentlemen out there who are listening, it is not a myth. It does sync up. Just give it about 2 to 4 weeks.
It didn't even take that long.
No,
Remember?
we were connected from the beginning, right, Michelle? I mean,
That's right.
our cycles, our souls have been connected. So
yeah, we established that I have the bossier cycle, but now I think yours has pulled ahead.
yeah, yep. I took charge. I said, "This is my home, and I'm going to take charge of this baby."
Well, the rubber match will be next month to see whose flow is in charge.
Stay tuned to see which of our cycles is in the lead.
And speaking of cycle sisters, we're going to start our journey in season 6 of Welcome to Plathville, episode 3. They're all freaks here. What an apt title for what I think can fairly be described as a pretty freaky show. We are catching up with Olivia, and who we affectionately call Olidia to distinguish her from Lydia Plath.
To be fair, I just want to say the genesis of that name came from my question. We had Lydia and Olivia, and I said, is Olidia a name? that could work. And then that morphed into the Olivia and her sister Lydia. That's just going to be Lydia. So when we say that, that's what we're talking about.
Yes. I'm just going to come out and say not a lot happening here. It made me kind of depressed.
Wait, you're telling me that two women wandering around the desert, one trying to date, the other one dating, who are feeling like they're very past their prime at 25 and 24. You're saying that was a little depressing?
Now, faithful listeners or anyone who's been around for longer than 6 months will know I have a very narrow perspective when it comes to how I think a single lady should date, particularly when she's in the prime of her youth.
Give us a refresher, Michelle.
Okay, well, I think when you're in a town like Scottsdale, Arizona, which has a large population of single gentlemen over the age of 60, I think that's who you should be courting. I don't think you should be wasting your time with bartenders. No offense to any bartenders or anyone working in hospitality. Great career if you can make it one. I'm very grateful to ever so many of you, and I used to be one myself. I just think that these two can aim higher. If I could go back, I would only date. Yeah, I would be looking for single men or divorced men, ideally in the upper 60 bracket.
So are you saying when Olivia is really proud that she can be the one to buy the drinks for these lovely, lovely bar goers, that you disagree with her tactic of feeling so proud of spending her own money on drinks for people she doesn't know, doesn't care about, and will never see again?
That's a man's job.
Ooh.
I'm a little old fashioned. I don't think you should be buying drinks for men. I don't think that's a signal of empowerment. I'm fine with going Dutch on a date as long as that is pre-agreed. I don't think anybody owes me a free meal. I am certainly past that stage of my life.
But no shame in taking one.
But no shame in taking one. Look, Olivia has signaled to all of us with her big hair, red power suit, and red lip.
You're going over this a little bit quickly here. What was your reaction to the red power suit? Because it wasn't, hey, she's wearing a red power suit.
What was my reaction?
Your
I don't
reaction,
remember my in the moment reaction.
Your in the moment reaction was, what is that? What is she wearing?
Her Dallas outfit, her
Aaron Brockovich outfit.
That's
yeah.
what it was.
Yes. I'm just saying, with that outfit and with the contents of her purse, which I will let Diana describe in detail, I think she's already sending out, a dog whistle to the retired or semi-retired gentlemen in her community there.
Hold on, let me just go through my purse and see what I've got here. Okay, so yep, I've got a book in case I'm bored. What else? Oh,
what kind of games do you
I've
have
got
in there?
Board games. I have tile games. I have not just digital games, but actual board games in here. Sorry, anyone?
Loose mahjong tiles?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Oh, wait, is anyone hungry? Because I've got a whole wheel of fresh mozzarella for you today in my bag.
Do you have any fruit that I can pair with that mozzarella today?
Oh, yeah, I've got some fresh peaches that are starting to mold in here. And don't forget, very important for Michelle, I've got you some poop spray. Okay, just, just in case.
Question on the poop spray, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia made it sound like she had the poop spray in case she entered a bathroom that didn't smell good. As far as I'm aware, that's not generally how poop spray works.
No. As a former frequent flyer with poop spray, back when I had a social life many years ago, you spray before you
Go.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the one thing she's missing in that bag is like a giant bottle of Xanax. Because she was way high up there when we were watching
I mean,
this episode.
those were the only things missing, in my opinion. I've never the mozzarella is what really threw me out of those things. Everything else I can get behind, I guess.
Are you telling me that you don't think it was a single like mozzarella stick? Do you think it was like
this was
wet
no string
mozzarella?
cheese. This
She
was no
said-
string cheese, Jack.
She said fresh mozzarella. Now, that could mean string cheese, okay? In which case, I'm still not sure I can endorse it. Not just as someone who's, has to bring Lactaid pills everywhere, but also just from a freshness perspective. In Arizona,
Maybe she
It's-
has like a little cooler bag inside of this giant
It's
clown car
reminding me
purse.
of, if you recall, the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The principal gets on a school bus, and a girl is holding some gummy bears, and she offers him one and says, "Do you want a gummy bear? They're real warm and soft because they've been in my pocket all
day.
You want some more mozzarella cheese, Michelle?
no. But honest to God, the string cheese had not even remotely occurred to me. I thought she was talking about like
Like a ball.
like a tub
Like wet
of
white
wet
mozzarella.
mozzarella.
Buffalo mozzarella. In fact, everybody scratch what I said that made more sense. Can we all just collectively picture a wet ball of cheese in Olivia's bag, please?
Jack, what would your Sicilian grandmother think about this?
My Sicilian grandmother, who converted to Judaism, would look at this as a shanda and would say, also, look, I mean, within that, we also have several levels of mental stressors, which may have included that cheese has been out of the refrigerator for more than 14 minutes and therefore is completely rotten. You got to throw it out or you're going to get a parasite in your brain if you eat it.
Yep.
Which sounds, anyone, let me know. That's pretty, that covers a lot of Sicilian and Jewish grandmothers.
Whereas my Jewish grandmother used to shove all the extra rolls from the table into her purse and walk out of a restaurant. And there was one time where she walked out of the restaurant and her purse fell and all the rolls rolled out of her purse. And she was just a little bit embarrassed, to say the least.
But it didn't stop her from doing it again.
No, they're her rolls. She, it's at her table for her dinner. Why shouldn't she?
That's really interesting because my grandmother, who was born in Paris, Tennessee, and grew up during the Great Depression, which really had an impact on her views on food, would not throw out the purse mozzarella. I think she would think, well, if you have fresh mozzarella at home, take it on the go. If you think you're going to eat it, don't let anything go to waste. Waste not, want not.
That's a Depression era mindset if I've ever heard one.
Yes, but my other grandmother, my waspy debutante grandmother would have been horrified by that. She would also not know what it was because she wasn't keen on cooking herself and would not have grown up with mozzarella. That would have been a very advanced taste profile for her.
What if she had taken like a very long trip to like Chattanooga where perhaps there was an Italian who had settled? Would she have maybe gotten more comfortable with the mozzarella then?
No, this is other grandmother, other side.
Yeah, no,
Dad's mother.
Yes, but you're talking about Tennessee still, correct?
No, not
No,
Tennessee.
Oh, did you just give a two grandma
Yes,
story?
Yes.
Okay, wait.
Keep up, Jack.
I'm so
Apologies.
glad that you pay attention and listen as carefully.
Oh, I
as
was.
you-
I
Such
think
a man.
I was getting my joke ready, I think.
So I guess Olivia.
what I was
Please.
gonna say, Jack, is there is absolutely no way that my great grandmother would have hired an Italian chef or an Irish chef. By the way, we were talking about this the other day. Listeners, weigh in. So a Jewish Italian excuse me, Jewish Sicilian,
Yes.
like my person over there, is a pizza bagel, right?
Yes.
I'm Jewish Irish, so I'm a potato latke.
Diana's just a bagel, I guess.
With a lot of schmear.
But what was our question for the
Our
crowd?
question was, what are you if because my best friend from high school is Vietnamese, her husband is Jewish. What is their baby? Besides beautiful and gorgeous and a sweet, perfect angel.
All of my answers involved lox and cream cheese.
But like in a banh mi.
Well, yes, like a banh mi lox cream cheese.
Somebody come up with something good for us.
Yeah, help us out. And if you're also a mix of different cultures, tell us. This doesn't have to just be Jewish. We were just sort of
No, any mixed ethnicities are fun to
Yeah.
kind of think about what your food profile would be.
How about a kasha banh mi? Would that work?
Ooh. Okay.
That could work.
Yeah, I
Alright.
like that.
Yeah. Just like your
Okay, if you want to make it more Jewish, it would be a kasha varnishkis banh mi.
Now you're talking. Sounds a little dry though. Not gonna lie.
Well, we got brown sauce that crosses all boundaries and
That's true.
borders.
Anyway.
Well, so Olivia describing herself as a grandma seems pretty accurate based on the long grandma discussion we just had.
Yeah, but
Yes.
I wanted to ask either of you if you thought Olivia was being maybe a little hard on herself. She's not used to being out there. And look, I mean, I've been single at various times. I never liked hitting on women in bars. So this might just not be for Olivia. She doesn't, she's not the same type of gal as her sister, let's say.
I think Olivia is an introverted extrovert. I think when she's around people, she opens up and blossoms, and I think it's actually one of her strengths is making friends and and also not just that, but bringing people together. Which Enneagram is she, do you think? Because
Right, we had
don't
said
think
four
she's a
for a
four.
while, but I mean, she could be a 7, but also a 3. She really does achieve a lot. It's kind of hard to say. I think I'd be more curious. Her MBTI, her Myers-Briggs type, I would guess is an ENFJ.
I'm
Give a
an
little-
INFJ.
You're an INFJ.
Would
Jack's
you-
an ENFP.
Diana, just give a real quick explanation as to what that means.
So the Myers-Briggs personality type is a system of measuring personalities that has been around for years within the psychology community, and it's been used for job placement, all different sorts of things. If you're interested in it, there's tons of stuff all about the Myers-Briggs personality test, MBTI, and it basically says that you have 4 categories that you fit into. It's introvert or extrovert, it's sensor or intuitive, it's feeler or thinker, and it's judger or perceiver. And those words kind of mean different things, and we can spend a long time on that, but I won't. But so, the E is the one that everyone kind of understands, EI, introvert, extrovert. So I'm thinking Olivia is an extrovert, but I think she's an introverted extrovert.
And just after you just said that, just real fast, so you said I'm an ENFP, which is like an introverted extrovert.
ENFPs tend to be the most introverted extroverts. And extrovert introversion isn't really about your outgoingness. It's more about how you get your energy. So do you get your energy more from like being alone? Like if you're the kind of person who gets their energy kind of recovering, you spend more time being alone because it actually lifts you and gives you good spirits and makes you feel better, and your energy feels drained from being in social situations, you're more likely to be an introvert. Whereas if you kind of get the high from being out with people and other people's energy can kind of bring you up, and you prefer that kind of way of gaining energy is through social beings, then you're more likely an extrovert. Obviously, we all have a little of both. Nobody's like completely one way or the other, but
I think Lydia and Olivia get their energy from repeating back Instagram word art quotes to each other back and forth again and again and again.
so that's their MBTI type.
It's just, look,
We're just looking for peace and harmony.
but I have a positive affirmations app and I've had to change the language a little bit to affirmations. I did not come up with this. No, but it does help. It does make a difference. It really helped me through the worst year of my life after losing dad. And it was all phrased in such a way, you know, an example, like instead of being like, I deserve abundance, health, and creative fulfillment. It's what if I deserved, what was it? Abundance, wealth, and creative fulfillment. What if I can be a leader? What if I can, and they're not all what ifs,
but sort of countering the negative first what ifs that come into your head.
Yeah.
Like everything's going to be awful, but what if it's not?
Exactly. It's what if and why not?
I like that.
Yeah. So I encourage you, if you're, because look, toxic positivity ain't going to do anything for anybody. It might help you through delusional places in your life. I think Mariah Plath is somebody who's a good candidate for, but that's because she's just burying things deeper and deeper and you know, Mariah, I was just showing these two a well-known clip from Ayanna Van Zant, who I love. And yes, I know that she's very problematic, but
if you don't know who she is, the Soup used to cover a lot of her stuff with Ayanna Fix My Life.
Yeah. So she had some questionable tactics, one of which was having her client dig a small hole
with a spoon.
Kitchen spoon.
And rest, in her words, resting his head on the earth and speaking the unspeakable into the hole. I think Mariah would be a great candidate for this.
Yeah. She could sing her songs into the hole.
But would the hole be able to hear it if she was saying like, would the hole be able to translate that?
The hole would be like, what? Your first sexual experience was with your brother? Ugh.
What a judgy hole you have.
You're more than your dad's running mate? Huh.
Oh,
this is alleged.
I just meant they were like really good friends. I don't know what you were.
No, you're absolutely right. We're being disgusting.
Well, can we move on to the Plaths? Because I got to say, this Olivia,
yes,
their whole story was just kind of blah 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 blah.
Yeah, we're moving on. I just wanted to say, like, did they? Okay, now did I just do what I did to Michelle a few minutes ago when I didn't hear her mention her other grandparent, or were they repeating themselves over and over again?
They were saying different things, or
in
the same thing in different
different word arts.
Yes,
around town. Whatever. Olivia's very happy to be on this new journey of peace and, you know, living her best single life. And I think she's overcompensating a little. I think it's the least confident I've ever seen her, which is understandable. She's starting a whole new life. So
again, I just want to point out before we move on, like, Olivia does not need to get this thing with going out to bars perfect. That might not be for her. You know, it's not for everybody.
No, I couldn't do it. I could never do it.
You know, it is for everybody.
Men with high nipples working out at the gym.
Who doesn't love it?
I was going to say, I've seen this movie before, and I won't say where. I'm just going to say that I definitely don't have an internet search history for
I'm going to cut in here and just say that I don't think if I just looked at your internet search history, I wouldn't think you looked like you. Let me put it that way.
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair.
Everyone wants to know what is on this search history now.
Well, we know what Jack's was because I think we've talked about it. excessively. Diana, tell us who you are by telling us your porn subgenre.
Incognito.
Oh, boring. If you had to search something, what would you search for?
Oh my God. What would I search for? I
If
usually
you get
let
on the
you do
video,
all the
you can
searching
watch
for me.
her cheeks slowly become crimson.
All right, I'll tell you mine.
Okay.
Passionate,
Ooh.
amateur, female maid.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, I like.
I don't mean
I
like
amateur.
maid like wearing a uniform. I mean like the studio that made it is
A female studio, so the women aren't
Yeah,
being
and
Female
treated in such a
created?
way.
yes, female creator, female friendly, whatever. So typically I go for something that looks amateur but isn't.
Okay, fair enough. I like the amateur look too. I do not like fake women. I like natural
All
bodies.
three of us are big into the amateur collections.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm at the age where now I need MILFs, which is so sad.
No, that's true.
But the MILFs are like 30.
Yeah, for the record, if you're
the
not
MILFs are younger than us.
if you're not
so...
a porn watcher in general, the quote MILFs, moms I'd like to F, are now about 28 to 32, which is getting interesting.
Yeah. I'll tell you what my genre isn't, which is Risties for Rent, which is the genre that Micah's under. Because
yeah, if you want to find Micah Plath,
if you want to find Micah, look for Risties for Rent, West Hollywood.
And then if you have to put a little qualifier, right, bitchy asshole at the end, and that'll kind of get you more towards him.
I feel like we're being trolled here. As I've said many times, when Micah was in like the first blush of youth and he was still like thinking he was going to be a cow farmer.
Oh, the good old days.
I fancied the pants off of him. I thought he was gorgeous. And again, not into blondes, not my type. I like a man of a certain persuasion and look. And
There's also
that is not it.
Different levels of blondes. These people are children of the corn.
These this is
towheads completely.
This is Targaryen blonde, and complete with incest. Although there are, as we know, there are black Targaryens too. So
hey, you never know what's going to pop out of the Plath clan, huh?
Again, this is an issue that I don't want to sail on past.
Mm-hmm.
Barry, I love that you've been present for your children. I love that in this divorce, you're kind of winning it, because I will probably forever feel that Kim is the ultimate villain of this piece. I know that that's not a popular position, but it is mine, and I would happily break it down to anyone who listens.
Yes. There's a full opinion of this program.
But the way that he contextualizes depression and grief as though these are just phases that you walk through, well,
must be nice.
I suppose that's one way of putting it, but he always talks about depression as something that you can somehow circumvent through working out or positivity or positive mental attitude. And while I think that's helpful for someone who doesn't suffer from clinical depression, I feel like he's the same kind of person who would come up to me and say, well, as a creative, you must love being depressed because depression really fuels creativity. Depression fuels nothing.
It fuels my bed, that's for sure.
Would right after that, could you see Barry saying, and you know what else might help? Why don't you smile a little bit? You look so much prettier when you smile.
Yeah. I don't know about this so much prettier when you smile, but this is just like, look, I did appreciate Barry throwing shades
through multiple shades, took them all down. Shades.
Yeah. Jack, talk to us a little bit about, because I know you're Micah's biggest fan. I know he's the one man that you would ever
Okay. I also had nothing against any of these guys when they first started, except maybe Barry. That's, as we've just said, that's turned the tide over time. I'm a big Barry stan. Then Isaac growing up into a fine young man. He's looking, his muscles are legit. Ethan, while I think the muscular look is doing something to his face, although that might be the whiskey alone in Minnesota at night. I don't know that the big muscles look as good on him. What I found fascinating was Barry picking up two 90-pound dumbbells and doing some chest presses, and then simultaneously sort of throwing that shade at Micah for what Barry's calling vanity muscles, which he said about exactly the same time I did, because Micah can't really lift anything. And I think that the trench digging muscles of his backyard and his bedroom are probably not really up to snuff to the rest of the family.
That's because you and Barry have man muscles, and Micah has boy muscles.
I'm so glad I didn't have to ask.
There you go.
Show
You
us
to
those
show
guns, baby.
Man muscles.
And he's not going and benching a lot right now, so it's all natural, baby.
Yes, it is. So that being said, there's different levels of muscles. I think that all the Plath men, apart from Micah, are actually exercising to get frustration, work through depression, get their anger out. Those are all good reasons to go to the gym. Micah looks half asleep. We're gonna get to this later, but when he's actually sleeping. Do you want me to say it now, or should I hold it?
No, hold it.
Okay, I'm gonna hold
on to it.
So yeah, so that's my basic run through. I wanted to ask you two ladies, and look, this isn't about who's the most attractive. We got different ages here. It's a menagerie here. But did the vanity muscles look like they could support much to you, or did they look like model muscles?
That look is not for me, with the exception of on my former, I'm really sorry, y'all. The desert, my brain, the heat, the dehydration, everything
real.
else. It's not quite online at the moment. And now I'm low in iron as well, on top of everything else. So, the only time I want to see muscles like that is on my personal trainer, and I want him to be over the age of 45 because I think it looks better on a seasoned man than it does on someone this age.
Did it look to you? I'm just last thing. We'll get off the muscles, but it almost looked like they were so overdeveloped and looked off compared to the other guys. It looked almost like he had one of those like puffy muscle like costumes on that he put on, and that was like basically what created his Micah's big muscles.
It was very Hans and Franz.
Well, and thank you, Barry, for doing your favorite Hans and Franz impression.
Well, but Barry wouldn't know that reference because they don't have a television and famously never allowed
Michelle,
any of it.
I will tell you that I had a full life before I decided to start my weird cult in Cairo. And
Stop it. You're making me wet. This is so embarrassing. Oh my God, I'm so turned on right now.
do you like my nipples are touching my collarbone?
Stop. So then we have
the ladies of the fam.
Yeah, I don't buy this relationship between Mariah and Lydia at all. I miss them hating each other. And
come on. You know, deep down, they still hate each other.
Well, I've always said that Lydia's rage is expressed through telekinesis and that light bulbs regularly, like the real reason we haven't seen her on the show much is because production costs went through the roof. Because she would, especially when Kim and Barry were separating, they would have their, like, we've got ring lights, and the ring lights would just burst. And it would happen unexpectedly.
Fire starter?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, she just breaks things. She's a liability to have around.
I just want everyone to just take a moment. If you've seen the picture Firestarter from the 80s with Drew Barrymore, she was a cute little blonde kid. Picture Drew Barrymore, the Firestarter, in the Plath home growing up. Would have been a lot more interesting.
That's why they stuck her in the prayer closet, it was like fireproof.
Exactly. There's only one light bulb in there, and the walls are fireproofed.
Lydia's room is just made of asbestos.
So Mariah is kind of bragging about how her style has evolved from Best Little Whorehouse in
Paris, Texas.
no, not Paris, Texas, in wherever they are, Cairo, Best Little
St. Mark's,
Whorehouse
Florida.
in Cairo, to these Arsenio Hall style fluorescent suits.
With, like, correct me if I'm wrong, are we sporting large shoulder pads?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, and she's totally like. And then she says, "Clothes and fashion was how I used to express myself." No, it wasn't. It was how you expressed to the world that you were a fucking disaster inside and out before you were old enough to get tattoos that you chose specifically to destroy your body. I hate her tattoos. I hate them.
You
This
don't
is
like
a-
the red rose and the black rose on her
It's
collar.
all of it is too severe for her. Okay. I've seen very nice tattoos on fair, slight, bird like women like this. It, it, it
Just the
doesn't.
wrong style.
Here,
Yeah.
I'll just say it here. For anyone that size who has very small arms, giant black gothic harsh capital lettering down both forearms, it's not the most attractive look, and it's going to be with you for a while.
It's like she bought those sleeves at Hot Topic in 2006.
Ironed them onto herself.
Yeah.
Did she take one of those old, like, sexy, this is what my tattooed body would look like, and then just say, like, yeah, no, now really do it, please, tattoo
Yeah,
artist.
exactly.
Do you think the lip liner is also tattooed like all the way above her lips like that? Do you think
she's doing a downturned lip, which, as we know, her mother favors?
Eek.
So yeah, Lydia, on the other hand, I haven't always loved her style. I think Lydia might be the most. She's certainly the most beautiful of the grown daughters.
Yeah, she's looking really gorgeous. Honestly, she's growing into herself.
Well, she looks great with the Little House on the Prairie clothes ditched a little bit.
Yeah, the Angela from The Office attire. She's softening that a little bit.
A little makeup, light, natural.
Another thing that comes up is Mariah talks about pursuing music or going to college. I don't think my most charitable comment about this is those two things are not mutually exclusive. You could knock me over with a feather if she attends a single class on time and to completion. And I am speaking as someone who was put on academic probation in community college. Yes, it is possible. So believe me, I've gone through phases of my own. Like I said, I was late diagnosed with ADHD and autism. I was misdiagnosed with a whole bunch of other stuff. And it took me 10 years to get my Bachelor of Arts degree.
Don't you think Lydia might go, like, with her values? You don't see, like, a Grand Canyon Online University?
No,
in
I'm
her
talking
future?
about, I'm saying Mariah won't show. I'm sorry if I
Yeah.
misspoke.
Oh,
No, no,
sorry,
you
sorry,
said
sorry.
Mariah.
No. I just misspoke. Mariah, do you see her? I'm sorry, my mistake. Do you not see Mariah doing online school? You think she's actually going to try to get herself to a physical school every day?
Absolutely not. But
I-
even then, she's not going to, like, she barely knows how to
Did
use
she-
a computer.
Did she even end up getting her GED?
I don't
Like,
think
is
she
she
has
even
one.
able to go to college at this point?
If anyone who knows anything about this in the listening community could get to us here, I'm curious, if you're homeschooled, what are the parameters? I don't know if either of you know, but I don't know, like, what constitutes a home diploma, as opposed to, yeah, that was pretty good, but you still need to get a GED.
You know what's interesting? My childhood friend of mine was homeschooled, I think, after basically for high school. She homeschooled. She does not own a GED. Never had one. She was admitted to college when she was medical school when she was 16 years old.
Jesus.
And she now holds a undergraduate degree pre-med, I think. I think it's a double major in pre-med and political science.
Wow.
Underachiever, huh?
Yeah. And she has a law degree from Georgetown University, which is not easy to get.
But so your experience is with someone who's like excessively brilliant.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just saying maybe I'm not trying to cast aspersions, but maybe a little higher up the ladder than this group.
Yeah, I think she was more
smart,
literate, and yeah. Then we learned that all this world travel that Lydia went on, I called it. I said it was a mission trip.
You did. And let me, I'm sorry, Diane, I need to ask both of you. I want to ask Michelle first. Just, we saw pictures. Did productions like say like, hey, take pictures that make it look like you're in Europe? Because it looked like, or South America, it looked like she was traveling outside of the continental US.
And it was not world travel. It was national travel.
And barely even that. It was like
a couple hours away.
Eastern travel.
No, but it was like, oh, I went to Georgia and Tennessee and like somewhere else.
I did make it all the way to South Carolina. That was a big one.
There you go. Yeah, and she was in a relationship which we knew a little bit about last year. Sadly, that is over, and Jesus is standing in the meantime.
That's her one true love anyway. We know this.
Do you guys like the fact that I guess this was a condition of moving forward with another season, that apparently a lot of stuff is off limits and we're just not going to hear any particulars about anyone who was dating or what happened? We're just getting Mariah with her.
Well, here's the thing. I think they sat down before, because these are not slouches, the producers of this show.
Of course.
Nor the editors, which is more than I can say for a lot of some of the material that we recap.
How dare you?
These are not slouches. I think that producers sat down with both of these women, and we can do a little role play. So Jack, be a producer. I will be Mariah. Talk to me about what my arc for the season is going to be.
Hey, Mariah, it's so great. I'm so glad that you're going to be back with us for another season of what's going on here. And yeah, I know it's a good time being here, Mariah. Yeah, definitely. Keep that laugh to yourself a little bit there. Yeah, for sure. So, what's been going, because we want to tell the story of what's been going on since last season. And, if you could, I want you to fill me in a little bit, because we're going to follow your journey. But I just want to share what you're comfortable with, which, going back on past seasons is pretty much everything. So anything new you want to tell me about?
Well, I was in a relationship with a guy, and he told me that actually, I met him at the grocery store, and I was buying flavored popcorn, and they didn't have my favorite. No, hang on. Sorry. I actually met him when I was going for a run with my dad. And
are these different men, Mariah? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know it's going to hurt your brain here a little bit, but these different men, or is this the same man you're meeting multiple times?
I just can't really remember when, we started talking over Instagram, and then
so he slid into your DMs then, as they say?
Jack, that language makes me really uncomfortable. And did you know that there's yellow chartreuse, and you can make a drink with that, and it's like a really nice drink?
That's a great point. I've had that. Let me ask you, Mariah, how does the chartreuse play into your love life and the man that you were dating?
I'm really sorry, this is just too
Okay, is there someone, do you mind, can we talk to your sister or brothers about what you went through? Would that be okay?
Yeah, you can talk to Lydia.
All right, Mariah.
Hi.
Oh, hey, Lydia.
Hi, Jack. Have you heard the good news?
What's the good news, Lydia? This is so exciting. You are, I want to tell you, Lydia, you're coming with a lot more animation than your sister
Is
just
it
now.
about the Lord?
It is about the Lord. And Jack, you don't have to be a believer to feel his presence. I'm so excited to tell you
Talking about
that
Barry?
my narrative arc this season is going to be about my passion for the Lord and converting non-believers just like you.
So you're going after Jewish men to convert?
Oh, are you Jewish?
I am. You know, I'm a producer on here and everything.
I think I need to call my dad to pick me up.
I've already been talking to your dad. Your dad had some great things to say to me, but you know, your father's changed since we started shooting,
Scene.
Lydia.
I was just waiting for Lydia to start singing.
That's what I was trying to get us to.
Oh, okay.
Here, wait, we're going to bring Lydia back 1 second. Lydia,
Yeah,
I
but
hear...
that Lydia,
Okay.
not this Lydia.
Lydia,
You
hold on
got
a
me out
second.
of the
Lydia,
prayer closet.
wait a second. I need you to come back for a second. What in your travels did you share your music with anybody? And where is your music at these days?
Jesus is the rock that I stand upon.
It's beautiful, Lydia.
Let him lead
I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I was wondering, is there a special place people can learn to sing not from their diaphragm?
You just have to kind of do it through your throat and make your voice quiver.
I think you're putting way too much soul on that.
Yeah, you
voice,
sounded a little bit.
Diana.
You sounded like you were doing a poor Whitney Houston
Oh, wow.
cover.
I'll practice.
Also,
for
I
next
just
time.
want to say that Rosie just did her. Rosie just started trying to sing.
Oh, little Rose.
We may
is
have
trying
to include
sing.
a picture of Daisy and Rosie.
Yeah,
for the
they're
audience.
being adorable. Okay. Fine. Let's move.
Can we take a road trip now, y'all?
Let's take a road trip to visit Cockroach Can, except we're not going to.
I'm just bringing this up for a second because I said it to you when we were starting this beginning of this car ride where Ethan's driving, Mariah's in the front. Before we actually with Micah blowing bubbles in the back. I know we talk about this guy a lot on
We're
this
talking
show.
about soap bubbles. He doesn't.
Yes,
he didn't
sorry.
bring a friend from Los Angeles.
Or Michael Jackson's former monkey.
Literally
Ugh.
99-cent bubbles from the kids'
Yes.
toy
No.
store.
But my point was that this is so silent and weird. It looks like a David Lynch scene.
It did absolutely. It would not have looked out of place in the Twin Peaks movie.
Or The Return, for that matter.
Or The Return, for that matter. I also felt that with this look, Mariah looks like the wife of a rich dude in a 90s movie that, like, someone like Keanu Reeves or who else was always in a role like that? Like, I don't know, any 90s heartthrob
Tom
would like
Berenger.
meet for 5 minutes and seduce, and then she turns up dead, and he's
Richard
framed
Gere,
for...
Red
Yes,
Corner.
that was
It's going to be
Yeah,
something
there
like
you
that.
go. There you go.
And then you only see her in the flashbacks of
Yes.
like their love under a sheer blanket. or
Exactly.
something.
And she's always doing something like or
stroking her face.
it's always like you never get to see her full face because for some reason there's always a hand.
Oh boy. Yeah. She's got a new style going. So
I'm here for that look. I mean,
but this is a big moment, Michelle, where Ethan has agreed to go see his mother so that he can actually go see his younger sisters.
Just to index this for the audience, is this because I was not sure. Is this the first time that Ethan is seeing his mother since that ill-fated attempt when Olivia didn't want to say hello and they were on the property and all of that nonsense that went on?
I think he saw her one-on-one, like, again, very shortly after she split up with Barry, but I'm
Right.
very happy to be corrected.
Regardless, we did hear that he said it was about 2
It
years.
has been 2 years. Kim is already painting herself the victim
Kim
in
Possible.
this story. Um,
Oh, I like the part, Michelle, where she says, we haven't really had a good time since, that whole credit card story that Olivia told. The story, not the truth, just that ridiculous story about the credit card.
Michelle, your feelings on this being turned into the credit card story, quote unquote.
They're not good, Jack. Let's move on.
Nothing positive to say
The only
here.
thing I'll just touch on that for 1 second is there's not a lot of like true healing going on if people are still calling factual events stories.
No, and Kim is not Kim is not a role model, or nor is she, as Micah describes, a free spirit and a person who doesn't give a fuck.
What about the fact also, same token there, Ethan says that his mother is not the normal motherly type.
Wow. Did he That is what we call I don't even know what to call that. That was masterful. I mean, he must have, I'm not entirely convinced that he's not just going to dive right into that Kool-Aid again.
Right.
But him saying both that she was not a caring, nurturing mother, which is about, I think, well, that's about the cruelest thing that you can say of a mother.
Yeah.
That would hurt me deeply if my child said that about me.
Well, the good thing, Michelle, is that according to Mariah, she doesn't care about anything and she doesn't get hurt and she doesn't feel offended ever. So you can say whatever shit you want to about her and she doesn't care.
Or does she is that because she doesn't really know how she feels?
Ethan coming in with a little psychology there.
I was very impressed by that. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it shows he's starting to understand himself and his own process, because we all seen it for years that he has real trouble processing his emotions and expressing himself clearly and not just getting wound up in his head. And he's starting to at least acknowledge and be able to observe himself, which is a great first step.
I'll tell you what type of person Kim Plath is. She's definitely a no shoes in a public restroom type of bitch. She's definitely a screw what happens to these kids type of bitch, because I raised the older ones to raise the younger ones like it's the fucking Middle Ages and shit type of bitch. She is a cockroach can please suck my toes while we trade racist memes type of bitch. I don't know that she's a who cares what anyone thinks type of bitch, because immediately the second she gets any kind of positive reinforcement from Ethan, which I think she's reading into a lot into one gesture
gave her
here.
a hug, Michelle. Like, he gave her a 3.5-second hug,
which led into a Lonely Island style slow-mo recap
Yes,
of the hug that just happened, where it was like, ooh, and it really was not that much. Check out the Lonely Island thing. It's funny. But
it was, yeah, this is ridiculous, but interesting commentary comes out of it.
Big time.
Ethan reveals that he never felt that he could be fully vulnerable around Olivia. Sorry, vulnerable around Olivia, because it would turn into a fight.
Right.
Um, and he says in the future, he will have to only be vulnerable with certain people, but also nip things in the bud for himself before they get out of control. Jack, I couldn't make sense of this, or even Diana as a 9. Can you translate this for me?
His vulnerability. I think what he's going for is that the times he would try to open up and express his feelings and his vulnerability would create more chaos for him with Olivia than if he had just kept his mouth shut.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this probably, I'm going to guess that in Ethan's learning how to be a human being in the world and society, I'm going to guess that he didn't always have the best timing or idea of when to bring things up with Olivia.
I was actually more, I mean, thank you both for that. I was actually more curious about the whole nipping things in the bud.
Oh.
For does that mean he would extricate himself from an argument? Does that mean
Okay.
or does that mean he would end a relationship?
K
if
Michelle.
he-
K Michelle. K Michelle. K Michelle.
K Jack K.
Okay. What I think he's talking about there is I do think that's some like sour grapes going on right now. I don't think this is a very deep statement from him. I think nip things in the bud means like, hey, if I'm dating someone or with someone and they don't like my family, nip it in the bud. They're gone.
Right.
Yes, agreed.
And I think
he's not going to let that kind of situation occur again, but it's going to be focused on like his family is his family, and he is not going to let somebody come in and ruin it or tell him what to do with that. He's going to end that relationship.
Implication there being that everything was Olivia's fault.
Of course.
Well, easy to blame the scapegoat.
And speaking of goats and creatures that are more attractive than cockroach Ken, one thing that shows me that nothing has changed is that Kim can't enjoy even half an hour with her eldest son coming back into the fold and trying to, she hasn't asked him a fucking thing. I notice
Literally,
she hasn't engaged, nothing about him. And the first thing she wants to do is bring everybody to the Roach Motel where Ken lives so they can play pool and hang out and buy another plane.
I really respected Ethan here because this was some
this is
some
a golf
gumption.
clap and a half here.
Boundary setting Ethan.
Diana, what did Ethan say to Kim at the suggestion of hanging with Kim?
Yeah, that's a great idea for another time. Not going to happen today. And then to the idea, I like how he tells us that it's not going to be his second dad and ain't going to be his stepdaddy.
Ooh,
that was very much, that was a, listen, I'm an adult man. My mom's with some guy who I know the show doesn't want anyone to know, but is a family friend. I'm not comfortable with it, and I'm never going to be cool with Ken. So it is what it is.
Jack, I'm sure that you can relate to, or that you can't relate rather to having a parent choose a partner who... I won't finish that sentence myself because it's
you can.
My
dad's never going to listen to anything here.
Oh, okay, good.
Not because he doesn't care. He's an older man living in Florida and handling his own life. But yes, he did choose a woman who never wanted to be a stepmother, even though I was 7 and my sister was 11 when they got together. And hey, this is fun to throw out there. She did do really sweet things before I met her, like leave her diaphragm in the guest bathroom and leave her bras and underwear on door handles. So, it's a nice sort of like memory like that. So yeah, I can't relate at all.
And then made him move to Florida and said that she was going whether or not he came, even though I know you've got kids there.
So the whole Florida thing is totally not triggering at all. To be fair, my dad lives far away from the Gulf Coast, which is it's a very different part of Florida. Not to go on to a geographical tangent, but they're in what a lot of people on the East Coast call South Georgia because it doesn't really feel like Florida, and you're right on the Gulf.
Come at us.
Oh, you can come at me about that. It's not shade, it's just
No,
geographical fact.
I mean, come at us as in like share your experience, strength, and hope, not come at us as in. And
Well,
speaking of
yes.
experience, strength, and hope, here comes the musical portion of the episode.
What a nice
hosted by
sound of
Barry
music
Plath.
way to end the show.
Now, Jack, you happened to notice that Micah was a little sleepy. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so Micah can't open his eyes. I will make jokes forever about him digging trenches outside and inside the house, but I think this was a little bit of a different thing. I think he was sleeping because I think his secret girlfriend told him that if he was to hang out with his family, he must spend at least 88% of the time sleeping and audibly snoring.
I think that his girlfriend works him so hard. You know, like I think he's up with the larks, digging, doing household projects, working, whatever. Not working outside the home, obviously, because that might expose him to other females. His girlfriend definitely calls women females, by the way. And then she's riding that dick all night.
Yep.
So I think this is probably the first time he's slept in 6 months,
What
5
do you think?
months.
Is she giving him like 90 minutes to 2 hours of sleep a night?
When she feels generous. But
Otherwise,
also,
you don't get to sleep, Micah.
Micah.
That's it. Micah's secret girlfriend's
Is it
Angela. Micah.
Micah.
Get over here and do some weeding down here.
I want to see your muscles. That makes my cooter tingle.
Fetch me a wooder.
Now, look, sorry, but Lydia,
Oh, we're gonna double down because we already did this.
we already did this. I'm not going to go.
Double down. No, it wasn't shade. Double down. Here, 1.5 down.
She's a sweet girl and she sings sweet songs.
She's a very pure soul who just wants to do good in the world, and I'm happy that she has a hobby that she's passionate about. And so is Rosie, evidently.
Did you both enjoy the reunion tour of the Plath family band?
They're talented.
I can't wait for more. I know there's going to be more this season.
That wasn't nothing. I did enjoy that part, actually.
Did we have a title? Did we get a title of that song that they were singing towards the end?
I don't know. That's like an Appalachian folk song. Everybody knows that.
But then what about Ethan's song that he wrote?
Yeah. Sorry, I was talking about Ethan's song that I believe you did figure out the title for.
I think, Jack, you heard the title.
Oh, the title, which was called Depression and Divorce in F sharp.
That's the one.
I'm not sure that was in a recognizable key. Number one, and number two,
Johnny Cash practice.
What do you mean? I'm not doing any Johnny Cash impression.
I think that if you're going to write divorce core, you need to consult the masters, namely Phil Collins, Don Henley, Peter Gabriel, Billy Joel, Pete Cetera,
David Byrne,
and Michael McDonald. And if you haven't familiarized yourself with that work, you should.
Hey, do you have one divorce court song title you can throw out there so people can get an idea from one of these guys?
Oh, it was my favorite divorce core ballad of all time is The End of the Innocents by Don Henley.
That is a great one.
Yeah.
Better than what we're hearing on the show, but the same idea.
It's heartbreaking and beautiful and everything you need out of divorced dad core from the 80s.
As we wind down, Michelle, is there anything we can close out with that is a little bit more upbeat than talking about divorce core?
Yes. So because my joints are swollen, because I'm having a flare up of my various chronic illnesses, and my period, um, I've been doing a lot of audio dictation as my notes, and autocorrect changed Pizza Terra to Pizza Sarah.
Oh, that's what that is.
That's what that is.
It also changed sentient bag to Sanchan bag.
Yes, I don't know what a Sanchan bag of cockroaches is. I don't want to.
Oh, I don't want to know
Oh
at all.
God, please no.
Yeah.
You just made me think of Brandon, the Orkin man of Brandon and Julia.
Oh yeah. I always have to remind myself is he a Brendan or was he also a Brandon?
He's an actual Brandon,
not a
Brandan.
Brandan. Okay. All right. My name is Michelle. I invite you all over to my pool table, or as is the case, my snooker table in my conservatory to play pool with my very open-minded, good-hearted, handsome, kind, and beautiful husband, Robin, who I miss very much.
My name's Jack, and you can find me wearing an Aaron Brockovich-style jacket and, perusing my purse full of cheese and apples.
Stole it. And I'm Diana, and I'm just going to let Jesus lead.
From all three of us,
we
love you.
That's
it.